The investor funnel diagram is just really important to keep in your mind, and just know that if you only get one piece of this in place the next 3 to 5 years, it's exponentially better than none of it. And once you get good at just one piece that comes easily to you, then the rest of it will just unfold. So you can transcribe stuff or combine it or hire someone to do the writing or, repurpose stuff. So just start with whatever's easy. Remember that you need marketing materials before anyone's going to see your pitch materials, typically, unless you're reaching out cold. Remember that a brand that's a Greek god, your last name, or ABC capital doesn't mean anything to anybody. So dialing that in when you can, at least on your next venture, if not your current one. Make sure you work off of a checklist, the checklist that we had, just to kind of audit yourself and be like, okay, we don't need all 16 of these, but these 2 for sure would help. Like, why would it not help us to have investors feel more informed and have a due diligence questionnaire for people? It also costs nothing, again, having the due diligence questionnaire. No one will take your offering more seriously than you take it yourself. They're not going to invest, $8 of their time. If you want to invest $8 in a professional email address, for example, it's just a very simple example, or a clip art logo or no materials, etc. You want to be number one in something for a very specific someone. And that comes back to the sandbox idea. The 0.1% rule of spending 0.1% of how much capital you're trying to raise on your materials. Not doing something if you're not really high conviction in it, and I'm only showing you things here today that have worked for me for sure, and it's not some theory or something I saw in Inc. magazine and never tried. And if I tried it like Inc. magazine and it didn't work, then I tell you that. I'm like, hey, it was cool because I used it 8 years later, but what wasn't cool is it wasn't amazing. And so if you only share the high conviction things with your clients, then it just builds more trust and authenticity as well. Leverage outsourcing tools, outsourcing solutions, so you can move faster and focus on what you're good at. Dean Jackson has a sense of humor. He says that he's a cow and his thought leadership is milk, and he wants his team to milk him to get cow out to the retail storefront. He's like, get this stuff out of my brain and package it up and get out there on my email list. He's like, I have the ideas, you guys have the processes. So I just want to flow my ideas, focus on what I'm good at, which is really elegant, really smart marketing ideas, like the 9-word email comes from Dean Jackson. And that's the exact example he uses, because he doesn't want to be like, I have to think of the idea and I have to write it. Then I'm going to edit it. Then I'm going to design the book cover. Then I figure out how to get on KDP. Then I figure out how to market it on here. He wants to outsource all that noise and just be the part that gets the thought and architect the idea and get it out there. So as you grow, you can't do that. You can only outsource part of it. As you grow more and more, you can do more and more of just what you're best at. Don't forget about the capital raising certification. We can review your materials every 3 months as a member. One member can come here, another member to our Scottsdale event. Someone else could come to an investor summit. Someone else could be watching the 1,000 investor mandates in the portal. We have 20 full-length HD investor summits that all have 30 to 130 speakers on stage at each summit. And we ask them, what are you investing in? What structure do you prefer? What's annoying when people email you? What works when people email you? What do you wish every capital raiser knew? And they want you to know this stuff because it wastes less of their time if you're very clear with them. So there's a treasure trove of information, like specialized knowledge within the Family Office Club portal that goes really deep. And again, don't forget about the Capital Con recorded talks. We have 100 like TED Talk-like length talks of people who raised 100 million or more. Chat with Andres if you have questions on pitchdex.com. Essentially, the one-liner basically for that is like, we don't just make it look pretty, we make it effective. And you could hire somebody out of an undergraduate degree, college degree with marketing and pay them $60,000 a year or $75,000 a year nowadays maybe. Or you can engage my 8 full-time W-2 employees and their 20 contractors for that same $6,000 a month. So you can get all of our intelligence or a brand new undergrad out of school who's never worked in the investor relations world in their life. And that's basically the hard pitch there. Andres is here. Just learned a ton, so at least get some feedback from him if you have questions before leaving today.
To listen to this full panel, join the Family Office Club by visiting familyoffices.com. We look forward to seeing you at our next live event.